When you put a rigid structure under intense escalating pressure, you aren't building strength. You are simply waiting for it to violently snap. This exact same mechanical failure happens with human physiology. Fully 95% of people who start a belly fat diet will fail within the first 3 weeks. Every single person in that massive majority walks away with the exact same false conclusion. They believe they simply lacked the discipline or drive to succeed. But human bodies do not run on discipline. Most diet programs are built on flawed foundations that force your body to trigger extreme biological survival responses. When those alarms go off, no amount of mental willpower can defeat them. We are going to map out exactly what happens inside your nervous and endocrine systems when these internal alarms are tripped, and more importantly, how to safely bypass them entirely. Because breaking your diet is not a psychological weakness or a moral failing. It is a predictable, deeply programmed physiological response to a perceived biological threat. Take a look at this vertical bar chart representing your baseline daily calorie intake. When you start a diet and drop that bar by 30 to 40% on day 1, you create an extreme caloric emergency. This triggers an immediate physiological cascade. Those red nodes represent a violent spike in hunger hormones. Your baseline energy crashes, and your brain enters a primal, starving animal state, aggressively hunting for carbohydrates and making every meal feel like a battle you are actively losing. The biological workaround is surprisingly simple. Instead of massive restriction, you create a moderate, almost invisible deficit of only 300 to 500 calories daily. Notice how the alarm nodes never appear, and the energy line remains perfectly stable. This moderate approach reliably produces roughly half a pound of fat loss per week, and because it avoids large, sudden drops in intake, your body never registers a threat or enters starvation panic mode. The second major alarm is the psychological pressure cooker created by eliminating entire food groups. Cutting out all carbs, completely avoiding fats, or banning sugar creates a rigid, extreme environment. Your brain actively fights against this absolute restriction. The psychological pressure builds day after day until the friction becomes entirely unmanageable, causing a catastrophic break that almost always results in a binge. Instead of eliminating foods, the solution is to make smart swaps. You serve smaller rice portions, choose leaner cuts of meat, and use one less splash of oil when cooking. These changes are so minor, your meals barely feel different, but the cumulative calorie reduction over several weeks is enormous. Subtle, cumulative behavioral changes successfully outsmart the brain's scarcity alarms. Drastic elimination, on the other hand, guarantees a psychological revolt. There is a third reason diets fail, and it is where most people never even realize what is happening. They focus exclusively on total body weight instead of actual body fat. This diagram breaks down your total body mass into 3 distinct segments: fat, muscle, and water. When you lose 5 pounds in week 1, you assume it is fat. In reality, you lose water and muscle, while fat storage remains untouched. This false loss has severe consequences. Your body becomes smaller, but visibly softer. You begin to feel physically weaker, and because water weight fluctuates dramatically day by day, the scale bounces around so much that you quit out of frustration. The actionable metric here is to ignore the bathroom scale and track your weekly waist measurement and how your clothes physically fit. These real-world indicators bypass the scale's lies and accurately reflect actual fat loss. Tell me honestly in the comments right now, which of these 3 alarms, extreme calorie deficits, severe food restriction, or an obsession with the scale, has sabotaged your diet in the past? 1, 2, or 3? Feeding your brain bad data leads to bad decisions. If you track the wrong physical metric, you guarantee you will quit the process before actual biological fat burning even has a chance to begin. The order in which your body eventually loses fat is entirely dictated by your genetics and your hormones. It is a strict biological sequence completely outside the control of your willpower. The people who finally succeed at this do not possess superhuman discipline. They succeed because they define their ultimate metric differently. They build a daily routine and eating system so entirely frictionless that they literally forget they are on a diet. Looking at these 2 trend lines, the difference is clear. Most programs are designed for perfection, resulting in rapid weight loss, followed by rapid regain. The best diet is the one you can stick to for months, because slow fat loss that you maintain beats a chaotic crash every single time. The final requirement for this sustainable system is making that moderate calorie deficit completely effortless. You do this by controlling hunger neurologically, rather than fighting it mentally. There are specific foods that chemically suppress your hunger hormones, allowing you to maintain a deficit without requiring a single ounce of active discipline. If you want to understand exactly what those foods are, so you can automate your biological hunger defense and finalize your frictionless system, watch the next video on the channel right now.